The Laundry Role-Playing Game, based on the Charles Stross series of books, returns to the game table with the second edition. Should your players be raring to embark on dangerous black bag operations in order to battle evil far above their pay grades? Well, you're going to find out because I'll be sharing my review of The Laundry Supervisor's Guide from Cubicle 7 Entertainment right after this. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I'll be sharing my review of the Laundry Role-Playing Game Supervisor's Guide from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. This 160-page hardcover with PDF is available now, carries an MSRP of $49.99. You can grab the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $32.99. Having said that, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Supervisor's Guide for the Laundry Role-Playing Game. A few things to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this review with you. It's important you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the book, but I do want to give you a good feel for what you're going to find inside. And then, of course, the Supervisor's Guide is a GM-facing book. So if you're a player and your game master has picked up the laundry, maybe they're talking about picking up the laundry, keep in mind, you might see some spoilers as I'm flipping through the book. I am going to stay away from major spoilers as far as the laundry goes, but just want to warn you, you might be exposed to a spoiler or two. Now, of course, if your game master has been kicking around picking up the laundry, let them know about this review. That way they can approach the supervisor's guide and make a far more informed buying decision. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the credits page. A lot of folks work very hard to bring this to life. So let's give credit where credit is due. As I mentioned, this is a Game Master facing volume, and we are going to start off with pretty much the basics of being a game master with the Laundry Role-Playing Game. So we're going to kind of touch on some of the most important aspects of the setting, the world of the laundry, how this is essentially a mashup of spy thrillers, as well as cosmic horror and workplace drama / comedy. And it's important to keep in mind that the Laundry series is very satirical, and satire can be a bit difficult to pull off at the game table. Because if you don't play it straight, if you play it for laughs, then it comes across as being silly. That is a fine line that game masters will have to walk with the laundry. Similar to game mastering, say, Paranoia, where it's got to be played straight. Otherwise, it comes across as being just silly and goofy. That's not what you're aiming for. Because at its heart, the laundry is a horror role-playing game. It is a cosmic horror RPG. So we're going to get into information about game mastering the laundry. And one thing that this book does not really get into the weeds about is the mechanics of the laundry, because the reality is mechanically the laundry is pretty lightweight. It's a 6-sided dice pool. You're rolling a certain number of dice and you're looking to roll a particular number or higher depending on the difficulty. That's it. Pretty much the whole game in a nutshell mechanically is right there as far as the dice pool. Now, yes, there are other aspects to the mechanics, but for the most part, that is really it. It's a dice pool system. And we get a nice handy chart to assist game masters with determining the difficulty. As far as the mechanics, that's about it. So we get some optional rules. We get a bit of advice as far as teaching the game, and then we will dive on into the laundry itself. So, first of all, we're going to get information about the laundry and its various different departments as they apply to player characters. So, this is very useful information for game masters and players to give them a better idea of the various different departments of the laundry, as well as what are the roles that members of that department would fill as part of a team going out on a mission. So we also get some handy tables here that are going to give us summaries of the different assignments that we've got. It's going to give us what the assignment is, what department that character would come from, the starting attributes for a character that comes from that assignment, what their core skill is, various other different skills that they can take, what their core talent is, and then the other talents that they may choose two of when they create the character. So we also have summaries of the attributes, skills, and talents. So I definitely like that a lot. We also get a breakdown of what these specialties are as well. Then we're going to get into information about building the team and what roles best need to be filled to cover as many different missions out there as possible. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that as a game master, you can't assign an NPC to the team that maybe has a specialty that the rest of the player characters don't have. But for the most part, you want to put together a team that's going to gel. Then we get into the missions, and we'll have a mission generator table, as well as information about key aspects of missions. Now, the laundry happens to be a scene-based role-playing game, so you are going to go from scene to scene. So you'll have investigation, you'll have social encounters, you'll have action scenes as well. You're going to have research, investigation, you've got different clues, discussion about creating the mission, putting missions together to create a campaign, different campaign arcs that you can get into. Also, I like the fact that we've got a lot of different information about some aspects to include in a mission that are more of the human side of things. Remember, because there is also that workplace drama / comedy taking place. So we get that as well. We get information about character advancement as well as downtime. And then the rest of the book, for the most part, is going to be devoted to the laundry, the departments of the laundry, and important NPCs and what those departments actually do, as well as other governmental agencies around the world that battle cosmic horrors. And then we'll get into the different cults and factions and various different lone wolves that are out there. So we'll get a section that's not only going to be a bestiary with stat blocks for various different NPCs and supernatural entities, alien entities, cosmic horrors, and such. We'll also get info about various different organizations, such as the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Just tossing one of those out there. We also have some rules here. If the players want to take on a non-human laundry operative, I got to be honest, I would think these are best played out, at least when you're first starting to play the laundry, probably best played out as NPCs rather than player characters. So as you can see, now we're into the section that's talking about the various different factions who are at work trying to sink their tentacles into humanity, take over. We also get discussion of about Case Nightmare Green, which is the big cataclysm that essentially all these government agencies know about. The laundry knows about it. They just don't know when it's going to take place, but they know it's coming. So we get, oh, there you go. There's Case Nightmare Green. So I dig that. I think it's pretty cool. One thing that you should keep in mind if you're not familiar with the Laundry is the series is done. It's finished. So this isn't a role-playing game where you're sitting there wondering, well, what's going to happen in the next book? No, it's pretty much a wrap. Speaking of a wrap, that is a peek inside the Laundry Supervisor's Guide from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Let's swing on over to the other camera. I'm going to share some final thoughts as well as my review score. So let's talk about production quality. It is excellent. Paper stock is very nice. We've seen an improvement with paper stock over the past few years from Cubicle 7 Entertainment, so I definitely dig that. I love the artwork. There's a different style of art that Cubicle 7 has taken on for the Laundry. I dig it. Now, some people have talked about the artwork's kind of weird, kind of odd looking. I like that it's not the same artists that we see in a lot of the other Cubicle 7 Entertainment releases. I love the artwork in those. Don't get me wrong. I just really appreciate that we've got a new style of artwork specifically for the Laundry. I really like that a lot. As far as the Supervisor's Guide itself, I really do appreciate all the information that's provided as far as running the game, because mechanically, it's a pretty easy role-playing game for you to wrap your head around. But as far as being able to present it properly to really bring out the flavor of those books that are part of the Laundry series, it's kind of a juggling act. It's a fine line that the game master is going to kind of have to toe. And I really do appreciate that there's a lot of information packed inside this book to help with the heavy lifting as far as bringing the Laundry to life at your game table. Now, I will mention, I do wish that we had an adventure, at least like a black bag operation or two included in the Supervisor's Guide, because it would give you at least an idea of how to construct missions. There is an adventure supplement that's been released. It's Black Bag Operations. I think it's revised or something like that. I think it's essentially some of the original first edition adventures that have been converted over to second edition. I have not seen it. Hopefully I'll have an opportunity to review that sometime in the future. So as far as the book goes, I definitely dig it. Like I said, I do wish that it had some adventures in here for you to just like kind of jump in and start playing with your players. There is no starter set for the Laundry at this point in time. So it means that you would have to pick up that adventure supplement. Or I think there have been some PDFs that have also been released with shorter black bag operations there as well. So I certainly do recommend the Laundry Role-Playing Game. Something else I should mention, you don't necessarily have to be really well-versed in the book series either. I've listened to the first, I want to say 4 audiobooks. It's a cool series. It is different. It certainly is not your typical Lovecraftian horror books by any stretch of the imagination. But I definitely like that, especially the Supervisor's Guide. We have a lot of detail to help you bring the Laundry to life at your game table without having to read every single book in the series. So I give the Laundry Role-Playing Game Supervisor's Guide from Cubicle 7 Entertainment an 8 out of 10. That's it for this time out. If you dig the channel, if you find the Gaming Gang to be a valuable resource, check out the show notes. There are a few ways for you to support the outlet, such as making a one-time donation by way of PayPal, or you can even become a monthly member of our Patreon. Like I said, take a look down below in the show notes. Far more information about that. Also, down in the show notes, you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server. Absolutely free to sign up, so be sure to hang with the gang over on Discord. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. And if you ring the bell, select all notifications, because that way, not only will you find out when I share videos such as this review, you'll also be informed when my live show, The Gaming Gang Dispatch, streams Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. And of course, when you're not watching videos here on the channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are never going to see here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.